Well, it's time for another little something on game shows. And here's another one of the underrated games done by the guys who brought us the Joker's Wild and Tic-Tac-Toe. A game that's got some real strategy for anyone who likes quiz games and what have you. And that game is what you're going to need to hit this spot. The one, the only, Bullseye. Today on the wide world of game shows. What? Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews presents Wide World of Game Shows. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to the wide world of game shows. My name's Doyle, better known to as the Big D. So today's game I'm going to be talking about is a real fun-filled, challenging experience. Which I gotta say, is where you're gonna have to really put your skill into guessing so many questions and what have you in order to make it big and hopefully win a big amount of money to win even more money and what have you. And hopefully you got what it takes to hit this spot right here. As today I bring to you the game show Bullseye. Bullseye was a fun-filled quiz game originally produced by Barry and Enright Productions, and it premiered in syndication in 1980. It ran until 1982, but however, in its second season, it was changed to Celebrity Bullseye. But anyway, this show is really underrated and what have you, but even so, I got a lot of respect for this game. Since the game is similar to other shows from Barry and Enright, most notably The Joker's Wild and Tic-Tac-Toe. And how is that? I'll explain as I go through this. Okay, now then. Bullseye was originally filmed, its first season was produced at NBC Studios, and then CBS Television for the second season. The show was hosted by Jim Lang, who was best known for hosting The Dating Game, which that happened to have just ended, I believe before this and what have you. Let me see here. Trying to make sure that I'm seeing this and what have you. Hang on. Well, I just know that the dating game and what have you was the biggest one he did. Of course, he recently did some other games and what have you. He recently did host another game for Barry and Enright called Hollywood Connection, which that was similar to Match Game almost. But I don't have that much nostalgia for it because I've seen a little bit of it, but not a whole lot. But anyway, let's get into the gameplay. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot the show's announcers. The original announcer was Jay Stewart, who was recently the announcer for Let's Make a Deal with Monty Hall. He also was the announcer for Tic-Tac-Toe and the Joker's Wild at the time. But when the second season started, he left, and Charlie O'Donnell, who would later go on to announce for the latter two, as well as Hot Potato in 1984, and Wheel of Fortune, the late great Charlie O'Donnell as I should say, was the announcer. Anyway, now here's how the game is played. Two contestants, one a returning champion, competed. The game began with the champion stopping 3 spinning windows. They are set up in a triangular fashion by hitting a plunger in front of them. Of course, that's the big button That would be one of the games I would know a little big bun by, the plunger, because I also heard that word used on the Scrabble game show with Chuck Woolery a few years later, which I'll do that in a future episode. Let me see, where was I? The top two windows contained 8 different categories, 4 in each window, with dollar amounts ranging from $50 to $200, representing the value of each question in the category. The bottom window was the contract window and displayed numbers from 1 to 5 as well as a bullseye. When the window stopped spinning, the contestant chose either of the displayed categories and had to fulfill the contract by correctly answering the number of questions indicated in the contract window. Each correct answer added the dollar value of the category to a pot. The bullseye represented an unlimited contract, which allowed the contestant who spun it to continue answering questions as long as he or she desired. But if by any chance that contestant answered incorrectly at any point, the opponent was given a chance to take control of the contract with a right answer, and an incorrect answer on a bullseye immediately ended the contract. But the opponent could still take control by giving the correct response. If both contestants missed the same question, it was thrown out and control reverted to the contestant who had originally tried to answer it. The contestant who completed the contract could choose to bank the money in the pot and give up control of the next spin to the opponent, or leave the money in the pot and spin again. Now, originally, the first contestant to bank 1,000 or more won the game during the 2-week period of November 24th to December 5th, 1980. Now, Bullseye first premiered in September of 1980. Anyway. Now, during the 2-week period I mentioned, the same amount won by a champion in the main game would also be donated to a children's charity. To ensure the charities would receive more money, the question values were doubled to $100 to $400, with a total of $2,000 or more needed to win. And these increased amounts remained in place for the rest of the series. Contestants kept any money banked during a game regardless of the outcome, making Bullseye one of the few Barry and Enright shows to allow losing contestants to keep winnings from the game. Since the champion always spun first, it was possible for him or her to win without giving the challenger an opportunity to play. If this happened, the challenger returned to play again in the next game. As was the case with most Barry and Enright game shows, a contestant won a new card every 5th victory, and players competed until being in the main game. Now, the champion advanced to play in the bonus round, referred to as Bonus Island. Once again, the object for the contestant was to use his or her plunger to stop the spinning windows. Now, for this round, however, the windows contain various dollar amounts, ranging from $100 to $150 to $200 originally, and later increased to I'm getting tongue-tied, $200 to $300 during the 5th week. Let me give you show you a bit of that, okay? Now here's what it looks like with the dollar amounts and what have you when you get in each window. And if by any chance you get a bullseye in each of the windows, in one of the windows, you tell Lane to freeze that spot in the hopes of getting a bullseye in one of the others. If you get 3 in all 3 windows, you'll double the amount of money you won, you'll automatically win. You'll have a total of 10 spins to go through in Bonus Island. But beware the dreaded lightning. The lightning is in one of the windows. If lightning strikes, your game's over instantly. Just like how they used the devil in Joker's Wild and the dragon in Tic-Tac-Toe. Now, as I mentioned, the contestant's task was to spin 3 bullseyes, which resulted in an automatic win. Kind of similar to what you would get if you got, a natural triple in the Joker's Wild bonus game, or if you get Tick and Tack in Tic-Tac-Toe's bonus round. Now, or survive a particular number of spins, which I mentioned mostly would be 10, without the lightning appearing. With each spin, whatever money the contestant accumulated was added to the pot for this round. Now, originally, if a bullseye appeared, the contestant had the option to freeze that window and put it out of play. This option was later removed, and the window was automatically frozen after a bullseye appeared. Now, a contestant could choose to stop at any time and keep the accumulated money. But again, if the dreaded lightning strikes, your game's over and you lose everything and your money. Now, if you can make it through without the lightning striking, you get the money and you get a big prize package. Now, once you make it through, if you go the whole number of spins, or if you want to stop, the location of the lightning was not revealed until after the round was over. If it didn't show up, so the contestant had no way of knowing where it had been put out of play behind a bullseye. Now, spinning 3 bullseyes awarded double the money in the pot, or $10,000, originally $5,000, if the contestant did so in a single spin. Surviving all spins originally was 10, but later was reduced to 7. Awarded either $5,000 or the total amount in the pot, whichever was greater. The contestant also won a prize package, as I mentioned, which was usually worth between $2,000 to $4,000 by either spinning 3 bullseyes or surviving the required number of spins. Now, later on in this series, about a little bit into the second run, they stopped using civilian contestants, and then they changed it to celebrity bullseye. Now, in the episode of this series, they did not offer a prize package. The same prize package was at stake throughout a particular episode until one. Yes, for the civilian one, before they changed it. That's what I'm kind of mean. Sorry about that. If I messed you up on that, I do apologize. Now, the show featured a bombastic music package from Barry and Enright's in-house music composer, Hal Hidley, including a main theme strongly reminiscent of Santa Esmeralda's cover of Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood, which, of course, I've heard that song, but by the band The Animals, which had been used itself on the pilot episode. An eerie sound effect was used while the swirls in the windows were in motion, as well as during the window reveals following a bonus round win. Now, the Game Boy itself was run by a slide projector similar to other game shows like The Joker's Wild, as well as Blockbusters, which premiered the same year this did, and Press Your Luck. Let's see. Now, in December of '81, that's when they stopped using civilians, and then it became Celebrity Bullseye. It featured 2 celebrity contestants playing for their favorite charities. The celebrities played a best 2 out of 3 game, and a $500 value was added to the main game. The categories were no longer announced by Lang before the game began, and most questions were multiple choice, containing 3 possible answers. Otherwise, gameplay was unchanged. The first celebrity to win 2 games became champion and continued playing until beaten. Now, among some of the celebrities that appeared, they included Daryl Anderson, F. Lee Bailey, Meredith Baxter, Ernest Borgnine, Jim Brown, Jack Coleman, Doug Davidson, Phyllis Diller, Max Gale, Linda Goodfriend, Shecky Green, Rosie Greer, Richard Klein, Harvey Korman, Diane Ladd, Gloria Loring, Tina Louise, Jerry Matters, Rue McClanahan, Brian S. Mitchell, Rhea Moreno, Greg Morris, Donna Pascal, Lynn Redgrave, Roxy Roker, Nipsey Russell, Lilibet Stern, Fred Travalena, and Patrick Wayne. After 2 seasons had gone through with a total of 390 episodes produced overall, the show ended in May of 1982. All episodes exist as it re-aired on the CBN cable network, which later on would be freeform to us, from 82 to 84, and then later on the USA Network from 85 to 87, which I got to see, and Game Show Network did a few episodes as well in more recent years. as well as recent as November 2007 for a Viewer's Choice Marathon. Now, you can find some episodes on YouTube actually. Now, even though Sony actually currently distributes, well, owns and distributes the program like they do with other Barry and Enright shows, I'd say you could still probably see these episodes. Some of them might not quite be in the best quality, but even so, I think Bullseye is so underrated. I think this game should have went on. There is another Bullseye game show, but that's a different game show that took place that was done in the UK. Not too familiar with it. All I know is it's actually a darts game or something like that. But anyway, and there actually was a 2015 game, but it was not related to this game. But anyway, that's it. That's Bullseye for you. So, if you've seen Bullseye, tell me what you thought about the game in the comment section below. If you liked the video, consider clicking the like button, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Now, I don't have any more Wide World of Game Shows episodes for this month, but I might do some more later on during the summer. But next time, I'll be bringing to you my spoiler-free review of the new Netflix film Senior Year next time. So anyway, thanks for watching this episode of the Wide World of Game Shows, and if you like this, consider checking out these recent episodes that I've done. In the upper left-hand corner is the episode I did for the Joker's Wild. The upper right hand corner is the episode for Tic Tac Toe, which really skyrocketed through the roof. That's probably one of the most viewed. Well, I know. I'll take that back. This probably the second most viewed episode of this, aside next to Three's a Crowd. Or if you'd like, go to the bottom left hand corner and see the previous episode I did on one of the games I just talked about that came out the same year this did in Blockbusters. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, music, TV, video games, etc., as well as the Wide World game shows, then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, the Big D saying, see ya.